The Power Hour with John Lee.
Welcome back to the Power Hour. Here we are in the studio again. Some of you might notice a difference or two in the studio. Pedro, great to have you back.
Hello, thank you very much. I'm really happy to be back with you.
Yeah, it's good. It's great. Obviously, we've had a break, and you can see some changes in the studio. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's not the aesthetic of the studio. The important thing is what we are trying to do, and we have to do it. There's no other possibility.
So why don't you explain to us why we've got this is called cling film.
Cling film. We use cling film in the mix, just for every guest to have the feeling of everything is clean and he's not gonna be infected because someone spread some kind of virus before he was here. So it really protects a little bit the mic from getting all this kind of virus. So you when you finish the conversation, you have to take this one, the cling film.
Yeah, cling film.
Remove it from here and throw it, and put another one for the next guest.
Yeah,
and then we can also use the mask.
Yeah, the mask.
But this is not very. But it's not very easy to talk with the mask, in a radio program or in your show. So we prefer this technique.
And what about the screens?
The screen is just for the same reason, because we don't have mask right now. So meanwhile we are speaking, we can spread some kind of liquid with virus or potential virus. So it will be stuck here. This is the thing.
And what's in that bottle there?
In this bottle, we have alcohol for the body. I mean, especially for our hands, but also for to clean the desk and all the stuff around us. Every time we have a guest in your program or in any program, we have to clean everything. We have also special measures talking about the whole offices, not only in the studio, these days because of the coronavirus. So we have all these kind of things, and also some kind of protocols according to the behavior of the people. Trying to be together. Many of our colleagues are working at home these days. They don't come here, so everything changed a little bit, John.
Yeah, changed a little bit, and changed radically for a lot of people.
Yeah. That's true.
Anybody who's watching this from outside of Spain will probably have a different experience, because things are different in every country. They're taking different measures. Spain, it's been a particular situation, really, because, for so many reasons, I could make 10 mistakes just trying to give a basic explanation of what's actually happened. But they were quite fast in locking the place down, in locking the country down, compared to other countries, like England, for example.
Yeah.
I know that because I've got a lot of, obviously, friends and family in England, and the measures that were taken here were far stricter, and they were imposed much earlier. But we're in the north of Spain, and I think in the more touristy areas like Benidorm and, Malaga, whatever, in the south, it was different. It was just impossible to impose those kinds of measures.
Yeah.
Too many people. Yeah,
too many people. And a lot of people leaving because of this kind of movements.
You mean living from the industry, working in the hotels and things like that?
Exactly, living from the industry. You have to take into account, John, that Spain is right now the second country in the world receiving tourists every year. We received 82 million people every year. And for the people to have like a reference, we are 50 million people in Spain, and we receive every year 82 million. Just France is the first one in tourism in the world, then Spain, and then United States.
Really?
Yeah. yeah, 82. So they have to know also that I don't really know the technical expression for PIP, like interior product. Like our economy is based in this kind of sectors or factors. So
Yeah.
we call it PIP in Spain.
Right.
So the first economy in Spain is tourism, with 16% of the
I think
whole
you're talking about GDP,
GDP.
gross domestic product.
Yeah, that's that one. Gross domestic product.
Yeah.
So the first one in
What the
Spain.
country produces in general, including the money.
Exactly, exactly.
All right. Gross. Yeah. GDP. Gross
GDP.
domestic. Gross. So you've got gross
Okay.
and then net.
Okay.
So if you get €1,000 gross and you pay €200 in tax, you get €800 net.
Okay.
So the gross domestic product is what is produced by the country.
Exactly.
Then, of course, then you've got, elements of socialism that everybody forgets about, like maintaining the roads and the street lights and the parks and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
And that costs money.
Yeah.
So after that, then you get the net,
Yeah.
which is what which would be the profit basically that the country makes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You say it perfectly. We call it PIB, Producto Interior Bruto, in Spain.
Yeah,
It
that's
is the
exactly
same.
what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, you explained it perfectly. So, tourism is the first industry in Spain.
Do you know what? I didn't know. I thought, and I think you know this, that I'm almost never wrong.
No, you are never wrong.
Never, no, but I am wrong because I thought it was America first, then Spain. I thought the USA was number one, but
No.
they're number three.
Yeah. I suppose it's a common mistake, just because of the number of people that America has and the size of
The
the
size
country.
of the country,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's natural to think something like this, and I suppose it was like this. But in last year, and I'm talking about for sure 2018 and 2019. And I don't know this year for sure. This year is going to change everything.
Yeah.
But Spain was the second one in the world, 82 million people. And France is the first one. It's not United States. Yeah. According to our, I don't know, to be honest, according to our information, I mean the one who is published in Spain. Maybe they have different information, but I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
What is a fact is that we received 82 million people like doing tourism last year, just in 1 year, and we are 50 million people, or something like this.
Well, I mean that gives great perspective. So that's I don't know what that is in terms of percentage, but it's obviously nearly 150% of the population. I mean, more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In terms of the difference. So there's 50 million people living here and 83 or 82, did you say?
82.
82 million people coming here, which is nearly 150% of the population, again, coming to the country. A little bit of extra perspective for you. The state of Texas is bigger than Spain.
Just the state of
Just
Texas.
the state of Texas is bigger
Yeah.
than Spain.
Yeah. So
And there are obviously 50 states in America. So for Spain to receive more tourism than America is absolutely incredible, really, when you consider
yeah. It's
just
something huge.
New York alone.
Yeah.
I mean, the tourism for New York, the tourism for California, but obviously Spain's got the islands as well and all that. So that makes, I mean, just to return to the COVID situation, because anybody looking at this is going to, hopefully, if somebody finds this video on Instagram, on Twitter, on YouTube, or any other platform in 2021, they look at it, or 2022, and think, oh, look at those screens, and look at why has he got plastic on his microphone and all that. It's because this is what's happening in Spain now.
Yeah.
In October of 2020, where we've got these measures to protect ourselves from the situation, from the virus, from the pandemic, from COVID, whatever it is. And it's really uncomfortable. I don't like it. I don't want to wear a mask. I don't want to see people wearing masks.
Yeah, it's a pity. I don't think anybody likes to wear a mask.
I know a few people that love it.
Okay, yeah, there is always someone
Yeah,
different from the
you
rest.
know who you are.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. There is always someone that is different from the rest of the people. But
Special, you might say.
yeah, especially.
Yeah.
But you are right. The question is if after all this pandemic situation,
Yeah, that's right. Pandemic.
so the question is if is is this gonna be here forever? Is this gonna last forever? Because we have also the feeling that mask or this kind of protections maybe will stay after pandemic time. According to new rules of health,
Yeah.
and also our perspective like human beings will change, and we will start to see something more normal and mask in our faces.
Yeah.
We don't really know.
Well, sorry, go on,
No,
Pedro. You're going to
no,
make a point.
just a thing for you to explain everything to the to the viewers, the people that is watching us. I would like I would like you to speak about Sidra in Asturias, and how this is gonna change something very attached to our identity in this region, because we use one
I know
single
what your point is already.
glass
I
for
know what you're
everybody.
thinking
And
already.
this is gonna change, I suppose. If you can explain it, John,
I will
would
do. Yeah, I'll
appreciate
give it. As we say, I'll give it a whirl. I don't know if you know that expression. I'll
No.
give it a whirl.
Give it
A whirl is like when something turns like that.
Okay.
So if you've got a wheel,
Uh-huh.
like there's a famous program called Wheel of Fortune,
Okay.
where you spin the wheel and it goes 200, 300, 500, 800. And if it stops on 1,000, if it stops on 50, no.
Yeah.
So you give the wheel a whirl. I'll give it a whirl.
Well, okay.
So I'll see what happens, see if I can
Right.
explain it. So, yeah, I was making the point that I don't like the masks and I don't like cling film and I don't like screens. Well, unfortunately, I have to think about other people and we all have to consider each other and do things that we don't want to do.
Yeah.
Now, if you're talking about long-term people just adapting to talking to each other through screens and wearing masks and saying, "Hey, do you remember when we didn't wear masks?" That is just a dystopian image
Yeah.
of the future that I really, really hope doesn't happen, because it's horrible, and because I know that millions of people around the world will rebel against this eventually. They will say, right, I'd rather die than spend the rest of my life wearing a mask. There are lots of people behaving like that now in England
Yeah.
and in America. So I really can't see the world's population saying, yeah, okay, then I'll just wear a mask every day for the rest of my life. I think there will be a breaking point.
Yeah.
So
I hope. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so too. But I hope it breaks in the right way, where we find cures and we
Yeah.
come back.
This
Not the other way where they say, well, look, this is for the rest of your life, so wear the mask. Because I'm telling you now, millions upon millions of people around the world will say, no, I'm not wearing your mask. I'm not wearing it, not doing it, sorry. And that will happen. But returning to your point about Sidra, for anybody who doesn't know, cider, we call it in English, cider is made from apples. We know that, okay. If you're Spanish and you know what sidra is, well, we call that cider.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Basically, it's the same concept. It's an alcoholic drink. Generally, you can get non-alcoholic cider, but nobody wants it. So you can have an alcoholic drink made from apples.
Yeah.
Right, fermented from apples. Now, in England, there's no particular tradition around it. It's just a drink, the same as you drink any kind of beer, you're going to drink cider instead, because you're a cider drinker.
Yeah.
Right? You like cider.
Okay.
However, if you don't know, in this region of Spain, in the north of Spain, there's a region called Asturias, which is absolutely beautiful. It really is. You can go skiing in the winter, beaches in the summer, bars and restaurants everywhere. Fantastic. It hasn't got the weather of Benidorm or Malaga or whatever, but when it's sunny, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. And sometimes it rains, but hey, it's green and lush and wonderful.
Yeah.
So me being from Manchester, for me, it's like it never rains.
Yeah.
compared to Manchester.
Yeah, understand.
And a big part of the Estonian culture is the way that they drink the sidra. So I think the verb is escanciar,
Escanciar. Yeah,
right?
that's it.
So they lift the bottle high in the air and they pour it into the glass in this kind of manner.
Yeah,
But you have to be very good at it to do it well.
yeah. You have to be a balanced people guy. Yeah, and
Yeah.
You have to stay stand also.
And you can't look at it.
Yeah.
You can't look at the glass. You've got to look straight ahead, and you got the bottle above your head and the glass down by your waist, and you got to pour the cider, the sidra, into the glass without looking at it.
Okay.
And it has to splash to get some oxygen into the cider, and then you give it a swill maybe and drink it.
I guess the viewers, everybody's watching right now, an example of this.
Yeah, well, that's what it is. And then you only get that much in a glass like that, bang, down your throat, and somebody else takes the glass. Now,
Yeah,
that presents problems.
yeah.
Why?
Because right now, not only right now. Right now, we are more sensitive about this situation that everybody sharing a glass, the same glass. So it means sharing our fluids like a human beings also, because we are sharing the glass. This is like this because from all times we use this kind of drink also to socialize. So it means you share when you are with this drink. It's not like a bottle of wine that you have your cup, I have mine, and okay, we can share the bottle of wine. But sidra means I'm gonna offer you, you're gonna receive it from me. Yeah. I'm gonna offer this one. So it's a drink for us to socialize a lot. So that's why we just needed one glass or two glasses for many people. Mm-hmm. So it became to us something very natural. We grew like this, with this environment. But if you are coming from abroad, something very shocking, and if there are people more, how do you say that in English, like this kind of people that is less friendly to share personal stuff, like let's say a glass of water or a toothbrush or something like this. Like,
Well, I don't know. Maybe a germaphobe germaphobe is a word. It's
okay,
and we're going to talk about him later. Donald Trump is a germaphobe.
So this thing, for example, for this kind of people, this is not going to happen. They are not going to get the glass that somebody used before
Under any circumstances.
Under any circumstances, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, germaphobe, yeah.
So right now, we really have to work in our mind to change this, because there is no way we can share right now a glass of anything, the same glass for everybody. So even in the restaurant, they already changed the situation. They give you your own glass, so you have your own glass, and your friend has another one, and the other friend has another one. So it already changed. Something very, very traditional and really based in our idiosyncrasy. I don't know. Idiosyncrasies. And it changed. And I guess this is the kind of thing that is going to change forever. We are not going to return to what we were used to one glass. I think this is not going to happen for sure in the future. Because already the change of everybody changed, and especially the change of the restaurant owners and this kind of people.
Yeah, I agree with you. In Spain, probably. I think, in my opinion, is that the Spanish, while they have plenty of character, plenty of spirit, they are more generally accepting of rules and laws than people in other countries. The French, for example, they'll go to the streets every day of the week. Yeah. They've got the yellow jacket movement. They love it.
Yeah, they rebel themselves easily.
Yeah, very rebellious people, the French. The English are extraordinarily rebellious.
Yeah.
The Americans, we're seeing that now. There are people in countries that will not tolerate it. They just won't do it. And that's a problem in itself. And it's not one that we can solve on the Power Hour. But I I'm looking for some sense in the world. And that's how I'm going to introduce the topic that we're going to talk about today, which is the United States of America, often described by them or by their public relations industry, I suppose, as the shining city on the hill, the great example that everyone else in the world should follow, the most important country in the world, the world's only superpower. The President of the United States is frequently described as the leader of the free world.
Yeah.
We hear expressions like the American dream,
The American dream.
the all-American boy, the all-American girl. These are common, everyday expressions that we hear all the time. Now, what is happening politically in the United States now that you would see as significant?
They will run elections, I guess next month, right? November, I guess.
Yeah, we're in October now, so next month.
Yeah, next month.
In a few weeks.
In a few weeks, right? So there are two candidates that everybody knows, I suppose, because like you said, what is going on in the United States, it looks like affecting every country in the world. So
Exactly.
We know about it. So one of them is very famous, Donald Trump, the current president, and the other one, Joe Biden. He's not new. He's been there also in politics for a long time, and he's like the opponent. And as far as I know, he's the one who is the first in the statistics.
Statistics or the polls.
The polls. So I guess he's the first in the polls. But who knows? United States, everything can happen.
Well, I mean, exactly. Anything can happen because the polls last time showed that Hillary Clinton was going to win. She had a 93% chance of winning. Donald Trump had a 7% chance of winning, and of course Donald Trump won. Now people will refer back to the popular vote, which a lot of people hate because Hillary Clinton got 3 million more votes than Donald Trump, but she lost the election. People don't understand that. And it's hard to understand. It's a nebulous concept for many people, and it's about the electoral college. So certain states are more represented than others in the electoral college. They have more votes, super votes.
Understand. We are familiarized in Spain with this situation because it's the same in Spain.
Right, yeah, of course.
I suppose in many countries. We call it here in Spain ley dom. I don't know in other countries.
It's called the Electoral College. So you have to win particular states, and Hillary Clinton didn't even go to those states, and she lost them all. And that's why, actually, if you look at the results of the election, it wasn't close. According to the Electoral College, Donald Trump won by a large margin.
Yeah.
Because he went to these particular states and won them all.
Yeah.
And she didn't go.
Yeah.
So that was a disaster. But I think they were statistically the worst candidates in history. I think that's literally been found as a fact. The least popular candidates in the history of the United States of America.
Oh, really? Yeah, they are like this.
Yeah, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. Now, my opinion on this is that you can go back to the 90s. We're not going to talk about the last 30 years, but they elected Bill Clinton, and he was cool, and he was charming and very intelligent, and he played the saxophone, and everyone thought he was going to be a great president for the 90s,
Yeah.
He was perfect, just the right man for the right time. Yeah. And he was an absolutely terrible president. And people focus on Monica Lewinsky and all that, forget that. He was terrible from start to finish. I mean, you could talk about it all day. So he was so bad that they elected George Bush Jr., who was clearly a crazy, crazy, crazy guy, He's got a Bible in one hand and a bomb in the other.
Yeah, and they say a lot of problems with the alcohol also.
Yeah, he was an alcoholic when he was young, yeah. And then, people have problems. I don't care about that personally. What I care about is the bombs. And he dropped a lot of bombs. So they thought, right, okay, well, what's the opposite of this white Texan crazy bomb dropper? Well, maybe a black guy with a Muslim name. So let's have Barack Hussein Obama, who promised hope and change and did the opposite. He promised to stop the 2 wars. He didn't. He expanded them both and then started 5 new wars and did nothing to solve any of the problems that people wanted fixed. All the problems that he promised to solve, he solved none of them. Wall Street, the pharmaceutical industry, the education system, the wars, the healthcare, he solved nothing. So they said, right, we've had enough of politicians, no more politicians, we'll have Donald Trump. At least he's not a politician, because we thought, well, Barack Obama's the last politician that we can possibly elect in this country, because nothing changes. Yeah. So maybe if we turn to this guy, who's not a politician, he's not from Washington, he might do something different, because Hillary Clinton won't. Mm-hmm. But he hasn't done anything different. He's just continued the same in the same way. Wall Street's the same, the wars are the same, everything's the same. So now, the difference is that Barack Obama's a great salesman. He could sell the empire. Mm-hmm. He looks good, he talks nice, he brings the family. We like Barack, he's nice. He's dropped about 55,000 bombs today, but we like him anyway. Donald Trump can't sell the empire. Mm-hmm. He puts an ugly face on the empire. The way he talks, the way he looks, the whole thing. They don't like him for that reason. So now you've got 2 candidates. One's Joe Biden and one's Donald Trump. And neither of them are promising anything. Neither of them are saying they're going to stop the wars. Neither of them say they're going to give health care to anybody. Neither of them want to control Wall Street or big pharmaceutical companies or the oil companies. They are literally promising the people nothing. So you've got Donald Trump. His campaign is basically, I'm not Joe Biden. Mm-hmm. And Joe Biden's campaign is basically, I'm not Donald Trump.
Yeah. Which is also something, from my point of view, my short experience in elections, professionally, which makes sense also. Because people, just few people, choose or elect some candidate because of the program, because of the reasonable arguments or reasons. You just need to connect with the candidate. This is much more important for your vote than the real reasons that all of us should follow. So that's why in many countries, but especially in the United States, I guess it became a war of identities, of personalities, symbolized or represented by 2 guys, which is something crazy because... let me tell you just a short story about my short experience in a regional elections. We realized, I was working in communication for one political group, that just in the end, in the last part of the period for elections, how you call it, like campaign?
Campaign, yeah.
Campaign.
At the end of the campaign.
At the end of the campaign, we were like 5, 6, but with options to 3 political groups. Just at the last days, we published the program of our political groups, the program of our project
a manifesto,
like a manifesto for the next 4 years.
Yeah.
It was in the end, and it didn't affect at all to the vote of anybody. It was something that you just needed to do, but the campaign was based on ideas and personalities. Exactly like in the United States, because it's proof that people doesn't vote because of a program. They vote because of many other reasons.
Yeah, they do. But okay, so Donald Trump, last time, his slogan was "Make America Great Again." Okay. Barack Obama's slogan was "Hope and Change." There is a strong similarity between those things.
Yeah,
Hope and change suggests that things need to change and that people need hope. So
yeah,
there is a problem which I'm going to fix. I
yeah,
am the solution to the problems. I'm not being very specific about what the problems
yeah,
are,
yeah. You're right.
but I am the solution. That's the point I'm making. Donald Trump said the same thing: "Make America great again." He recognised that there was a problem and he was going to solve it.
Yeah,
That was the slogan.
yeah,
They both got elected.
yeah,
Okay, they
yeah,
both, by the way, promised to end all the wars. Neither of them did that. This time, they're literally promising nothing. They're not promising anything. Neither of them.
yeah,
There's no, you know, I mean, you can win an election with lies and slogans and promises, but they're not even doing that this time. You know, so I just feel bad for the American people because most,
yeah,
you know, the American people are wonderful people that go to work, they have their families, and they want what we want. They want
yeah,
happy lives and
yeah.
happy
Sure.
children. And they've got to choose between these two.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right. They don't look like. Also, to me, they don't look like a very powerful candidates. I mean, like politically, and like you said, they are not promising anything because they don't need that, especially in this time, when everybody is thinking about one thing, or the media is the idea of there is just one thing in our brains, which is coronavirus and the current situation. You know, this is playing a lot in everything. So they just ran some elections infected because of this. Also, with the fact that one of them was infected by the coronavirus, is going to play this role until the end of the campaign. So yeah, you're right. They don't need even to lie, which is something that you say before. There is a point in this. They are not promising anything. Who cares if they are not gonna follow it later? But they don't really feel the need of doing something like this, like you said. And to be honest, I don't know the slogan they choose for this year. Both of
Exactly.
them.
They don't even have a slogan that you can remember.
Yeah.
You know, and you would think, well, you've got the healthcare crisis, you've got riots, which if you're not an English speaker and you don't, or it's not your first language, a riot is disturbio in Spanish, riot. So you've got riots in the streets of many major cities. You've got millions of people with no access to healthcare during a pandemic. And they won't even help them with that, you know. You've got millions of people now unemployed, more every day. You would think this is the time for promises and this is the time for solutions. Nah, this is the time for not being the other guy,
Yeah.
you know. So, Fabian, can you show me the picture, Joe Biden? We want to have a look at Joe. Joe, this is a meme. Meme, by the way, is a real word. In Spain, they say meme, but meme is actually a real word. So, you can see the picture there of Joe, and it says, "I'm Joe Biden, and I forgot this message." Do you know why that meme is so popular?
I suppose because they are making fun of the I don't know if it is a cliche or reality, but the sensation that the world have about this guy forgetting everything because he's old, and maybe he has some memory problems or cognitive problems, because he showed he gave to the world some kind of reasons to think about that, right?
Oh, plenty. That literally, you can go on YouTube and watch hundreds of videos. We're going to see a video of Joe trying to explain something in a while. I'll show you that, see what you think of it. But yes, he's definitely suffering from cognitive decline. Now, I'm not a doctor. If there's any doctors watching, they would be in a much better position, obviously, to give you a real analysis of what exactly is happening there. But he forgets the question during the answer.
Yeah.
He forgets what he's talking about frequently, and is obviously having some kind of problem with his mind and with his memory. Yes. And he's quite old, to put it bluntly. He's quite old. He's like 72 or something like that.
Yeah.
And Donald Trump's 70. So, you know, you're talking about two quite old men. So, I'm conflicted about this. Because on one hand, I think it's funny. You know, you watch the clips and he's talking, and there's a famous one where he's trying to quote the Declaration of Independence.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Okay.
And you think about the great orators of the past, like John F. Kennedy and people like that who could really speak. You know, Bill Clinton as well was great. Obama was great.
Yeah.
And he says, all men are created, well, go, you know the thing. What thing? What are you talking about? He can't remember it.
Yeah.
This is a presidential candidate. And that's, people laugh at that, but I see a sad side to that.
Yeah, for sure, because one of the skills that for sure a president of a country needs is to communicate. This is very important. It's a link with the people. If you are able to communicate good, and they can at least understand you. I'm not going to say to agree with you, but understand you. And yeah, that's sad. I don't know if he has some real memory problems or he just get lost. I remember that not many years ago we used to have a president in Spain without any kind of problems. I mean, cognitive problems. Rajoy, but some people is interested in learning Spanish, so don't think about our ex-president Mariano Rajoy, because he was someone, I guess, very, very good communicating sometimes in his way, like I think about Donald Trump, but not in the way most of us will think about someone that is communicating very good, like technically. The thing is that Rajoy, our ex-president, used to do the same of Joe Biden. No sense sentences, a lot. We made fun for many years, but in that case, it's clear that he didn't have any kind of cognitive problems. He just get lost and continue talking, without sense, not really thinking what he was saying, and so you get lost, you continue talking, and at the end you are exposed a lot in the media. So you have many opportunities to, I don't know how to say that, fucked it up.
Yeah, to fuck it up.
Fucked it up.
Yeah, I mean, but that's not good though, is it? I mean, you're just giving me an example of somebody else who was a terrible candidate. I mean, he became the president of Spain, and even when he was president of Spain, if you went on Google and searched world leaders on Google and went on images, he did not appear.
He did not appear.
No, he didn't appear. Yeah, I know that's a fact.
Yeah.
Never appeared. He was, and he may have been good in some ways, and maybe in private meetings he was a lot better, but he was a terrible orator. I mean,
terrible.
But as you say, he was not suffering from cognitive decline. That was just part of the man's character.
Yeah.
Joe Biden is the same. He was always like that, and because he was always like that, you can see the difference. Because he was a completely different person. Yes, he had that natural capacity to say the wrong thing at the wrong time, all his life. He's always had that.
Okay.
But now, I mean, it's not just worse, it's a different thing entirely.
Yeah.
He used to be great in debates. He was really good at debating. Now he can't do it because the man is in mental decline. Fabian, can we have the video, please?
I saw that made me aware when I was in law school, proudly for Holloway, proudly for your dad, first African-American state senator in the state of Delaware. Everything about. And by the way, I sit on the stand and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They'd look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap. And I tell you what, the man They're now all men, the guys I work with down here. And they're all guys at the time. They're all good men. Most of them made an awful lot of themselves. And Earl Larkin had a rough time. And some of you knew Earl. I came back as a public defender.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
So, react to that, my friend.
Well, I don't understand. I mean, I understand any single word, but I don't get the idea what he was trying to say.
Exactly, yeah, neither do I. Neither do I. So for those people who are Spanish and who are feeling bad now because they're watching the video and thinking, well, I thought I had a really good level of English and I didn't understand any of that. Don't stop feeling bad. I didn't understand any of it either. Neither did Joe Biden. That's the point.
Yeah.
And there are so many things wrong with that. He's got a bad reputation. If you want to go and look at it, creepy Uncle Joe. Right. I'm not going to play the videos because they're really, really unpleasant, really difficult to watch.
Okay.
The way he is with children, his behaviour with young kids, is really bad.
Okay.
Honestly, it's really bad. Go watch it on YouTube if you want to, but it's absolutely intolerable. If you saw a man behaving like that with children in a bar or anywhere, everybody in the bar would react to it. It's really bad. So he's got that reputation of being totally inappropriate with children.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. So one of his nicknames is Creepy Uncle Joe for that reason, that he's totally creepy, which is, moving silently and somebody you can't trust is creepy.
Yeah. Okay.
And the way he behaves around children and women in general, he's had to apologise for his behaviour with women, but with children especially. So he decides to surround himself with children and tell a story about when he was a lifeguard and kids touching his legs and rubbing the hair down on his legs and watching the hair float back up. And then he's talking about roaches, which are insects, he says. So I learnt about roaches.
What is the connection?
There is no connection. And I learnt about kids jumping on my lap, which is what Santa Claus does, here on my lap. And I love kids jumping on my lap. And then he's going back to, then I came back here as a public defender, which is a kind of a lawyer. So there's no connection at all between any of the things that he's saying. And he's saying it primarily to a group of kids who are not interested in any of it anyway and don't understand a word of it.
Uh-huh.
So
it's crazy.
That, to me, it seems cruel to push the man out there.
I don't know, because I don't know what he was trying to say. It sounds really creepy, like you said. I don't know if he in any occasion tried to explain himself about this, because returning to our president, there were many times that he was, saying crazy things. And then in another interviews, they asked him, and they put the same audios, because we have to say also that he wasn't very good communicating in these kind of things, but he had a lot of sense of humor, our ex-president.
Right.
So it's popular to find videos of our ex-president trying to explain what he was trying to say, and why he got lost, and he is a guy with a good sense of humor. He's making fun of himself. Say I don't know what I was saying. I was just speaking because I don't know. I was there and I made a mistake, and then I tried to continue, and I don't know. So maybe this guy, Joe Biden, I don't know, somebody asked him about what he was trying to say?
No, this is the problem. They won't ask him. And that's what makes it worse.
Yeah.
Because, as you say, if you say, look, Joe, right, you gave us that speech next to the swimming pool with all those kids, and I watched it myself, and I've got absolutely no idea what you were talking about. So, obviously you were having some kind of moment.
Try to explain yourself. And
What were you talking about, man?
Yeah,
What was
so-
all that with the kids and the legs and and the touching?
Yeah,
and,
it's no-
none of it was good. So why don't you try and explain some of it to us? But they won't.
Yeah.
They try to pretend that's not real. That's not happening.
This is the worst option always, because there is, we call it in Spanish, hemeroteca, I don't know, videoteca, like the
Yeah, like a library.
library of videos. It's going to be there forever. Try to
Yeah.
make any kind of sense about it, if you can. And if you can't, but explain yourself what you were trying to say,
Yeah, but he can't. So
Yeah.
Donald Trump. There are lots of really legitimate criticisms of Donald Trump.
There are.
Yeah, I mean, you could if you want to call him an authoritarian, maybe you could. Some people would disagree with that. We're going to see in the election what happens. You might call him a racist. I've heard him called a racist before.
Yeah.
I've heard him
I think
called
so.
a misogynist.
That's true.
I've heard him called a Russian spy many times. I've even heard it on the news that he can't read. Now, many of these things are absolutely ridiculous. I mean, obviously, if you can't read, then why would Vladimir Putin hire him as a spy? I mean, you're contradicting yourselves. I mean, it's ridiculous.
I guess he can read.
Of course he can read. He was a property developer in New York for 40 years. Of course he can read. But they'll say anything against Donald Trump, and then they won't mention anything good or bad about Joe Biden. It's just they'll ask him very easy questions, give him time to answer, and help him answer the question. Literally. And that's not good. That's really not good. So I'll ask you this question, right?
Okay.
Donald Trump, he's just got out of hospital. Fabian, can we have the picture of Donald Trump? Because he got out. I think he's still in the hospital in this picture.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a special part of it because it's a military hospital, so they have a special area for
Okay. Yeah.
presidential or maybe high-ranking military people, And he's in there apparently reading and signing documents. Many people don't think he has COVID or he had COVID. They think it's just what we call a publicity stunt. And it's also designed to protect him because if you attack a 70-year-old man who's got COVID-19 and then he dies, you don't look very good, do you? So a lot of people are hesitating to attack him now.
Yeah.
Also, he's the hero. He's a 70-year-old man that comes out and says, look, I had COVID-19.
Yeah.
And look at me. Boom, straight back to work.
Yeah.
I can be the president. Look at this guy. He can't finish a sentence.
Yeah.
So there's that dynamic.
You're right.
Okay, now, you don't need to like Joe Biden. You don't need to like Donald Trump. You are the director and partner of a company. You're a businessman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's the scenario. You've decided that you want to take a year for yourself, a sabbatical,
Okay.
right? You're going to go to Nepal.
Sounds good. Continue.
Yeah, you're in Nepal, right?
Yeah.
On a llama,
Okay.
right? And you've decided to leave your company in the hands of someone else.
Okay.
You're going to hire somebody to run your company for you while you're in Nepal.
Okay.
Right, you've got two candidates. You can either leave your company in the hands of Donald Trump or you can leave your company in the hands of Joe Biden. Choose, my friend.
I have to choose.
You
right?
have to choose. It's an
There's
election.
no. Okay. I'm trying to understand. We are trying also to make a metaphor about the country. The one who is going to run the country. Because if we are talking about business, it clearly appears to my head like Donald Trump running the company. Why? Because I have the image that they sold me that he is a very good businessman. But in my company, we like to think that we have deep ethics in our behavior. So I have a problem with this,
Yeah. But Joe Biden's done horrible things as well the entire time he's been in Washington. So,
Yeah, I suppose. I don't know a a lot of about him. I mean, I know much more about Donald Trump
Yeah, of course,
because
yeah.
his book is being exposed much more, and all his crazy, I don't know, ideas or speech are more repeated in media than Joe Biden.
Yeah.
So I have a better image about Joe Biden because I have less knowledge about Joe Biden. Could be also, you know. Donald Trump has been sold to the world, a project to the world, like a very good businessman. I mean, very direct in business. You have some. I remember when he was elected, and he was talking about the wall in the frontier of Mexico.
Yeah,
So
Mexico.
I remember this guy that he used to be I forgot right now the richest guy in the world, the Mexican guy.
Carlos Slim.
Carlos Slim. So I remember Carlos Slim when they asked him, "What do you think about the wall? About what is, all the Mexican
Yeah, of
people
course,
was
yeah.
like very scared about this guy running the United States country with the wall and the idea of separate a lot from them." So Carlos Slim said something like, "Don't be scared. He is not." He's not a terminator. He's negotiator. I don't know if it makes any sense in English, but in Spanish
Yes, it does.
It does, right? So he said he's not terminator. He's not gonna finish with us. He's negotiator, like saying he's a businessman. He can play very tough in business rules, and he's running the country with this kind of idea of this is a company, and he can be very violent in the negotiation. So another guy from Mexico, which is also not poor, and I guess used to negotiations, which is Carlos Slim. He said he's not a Terminator. He's not gonna kill us. He's gonna negotiate a lot. He's negotiator. He's very good on that.
Well, he is. I mean, he got the North Korean president and the South Korean president to shake hands
Yeah.
on the border of North and South Korea. That was a tremendously historic moment.
Yeah.
And you have to give him credit for that.
Yeah. He did that. Who knows how? But yeah, he did it. We can't say anything different. Yeah.
No, and he's got Israel now in peace talks with various Arab states.
Yeah. Like in historic deals between these Arab states. But this is shaking a little bit more, even more, the situation between Palestine and Israel and countries that support Palestine. So he's shaking more Anyway, you are right. He's like this. He's this kind of people. So. Answering to your question, I guess I will choose Joe Biden. Anyway,
Jesus.
Yeah.
I don't believe you.
I think I'm honest. Maybe because I prefer to choose someone that I don't really know so much. That the guy that I really know. I mean, I don't know Donald Trump also, but every single movement that he made for all this all this time, it just scared me like human being rather than anything.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I say I don't believe you. I do believe you. This is my expression of shock. Because, I mean, you could say, look, I think Joe Biden is better in the sense that he's not as bad as for the image of your company, for the image of the United States. You could say Donald Trump is giving a terrible image of the United States to the rest of the world, and that's not what we want for lots of reasons. And Joe Biden, while he's not a perfect candidate and may not even be the real president, might not make any decisions, doesn't actively give a terrible image of the country to the rest of the world. And you could say that about the company as well.
Yeah. But I'm trying also go one step more. I mean, it's not just the image; it's the link between the image. That you are right. This is what I have in my knowledge because I can touch them. I mean, I have the image that they gave me, but I have I want to think that behind the image are the facts, and if I have the image of this guy, Donald Trump, being racist, being misogynistic, like I really believe, because he showed me a lot about this.
Yeah.
So I really think his behavior is not going to
Yeah,
change.
yeah, I
It's a
understand.
real image. So
Yeah.
he's promoting a world and a country
Yeah.
with all these values. So I prefer to think in someone like Joe Biden. At least my image of himself is not the same.
You see, I assumed you would say, and I was wrong, like I was at the start of the show, when I thought that America had more tourism than Spain. I thought you would say Donald Trump, because Donald Trump, as you mentioned, to be fair, is a successful businessman. And he doesn't, as Carlos Slim said, he's a negotiator. Now, Carlos Slim has been at times the richest man in the world. He's always in the top 5. He's there with Bill Gates and Warren Buffett and, Jeff Bezos and all that, right?
Yeah.
So if he's saying, if he, refers to you as a negotiator, he's somebody who knows you as a businessman.
Yeah.
Carlos Slim, there's some respect in that, right?
Yeah.
So I would suggest that Donald Trump, while he may be many things, is not stupid and can make a deal and can run a business. And maybe after your year in Nepal, when you come back, maybe your company would be bigger.
Would be bigger, but it will be worse also.
But it would be bigger, but it would be worse. That's a wonderful point. But when you come back in, if you leave it with Joe Biden, who's clearly, got some mental problems and nobody knows what he's talking about, including himself, when you come back, maybe there's no company at all. So is that like a microcosm of the problem that the American people have now?
Yeah. I don't know. It's a very brave metaphor, but yeah, it could be something like this. Yeah, and it could happen something like this for sure. You are right in some point. Nobody has like the, how you say it in English, the word ilusión in Spanish, like the hope, like
the hope, the aspiration.
The aspiration, yeah. With any candidate, yeah. I guess most of the people is desperate. And this virus ran in the worst moment. Appear in the scene in the worst moment, because it's also hiding the low level of the candidates, from my point of view.
Yeah, exactly. Because as you said, people generally vote for lots of different reasons. Family, tradition, I always vote for the Blues, we always vote for the Reds in this house, etc. Or the image of the person, well, he seems nice, or the media say he's nice, or whatever. I think in this one, it really is a question of voting against the other one.
Yeah.
How many people will vote against Donald Trump and how many people will vote against Joe Biden? Sure. And the reason that I wanted to talk about it today on the Power Hour is because whoever's in the White House, that affects the rest of the world.
This is for sure.
That affects everybody. And people are starting to notice. So for years I've been saying, look, watch, there are problems in America, real problems in America. People saying, John, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm not interested. But now people are starting to take notice because they're afraid of China. They're saying, well, if the American empire falls, who's going to take control? The Chinese? You're going to live under the Chinese Communist Party? That's who's going to run the world if the American empire collapses completely. And that's really what we're looking at now. You've got Donald Trump or Joe Biden, and you're going to put your money on one of them.
Yeah.
To run the biggest country in the world, the largest economy in the world,
it's
the largest military in the world. I say no to both of them. I say that they need to, come up with some better candidates. Change the whole thing, the whole system.
Yeah.
The whole system needs to change completely. And that's about all the time we've got on the Power Hour. Pedro, you've been fantastic, informative.
Thank you very much. I'm really glad to speak to you. I hope my English is not damaging anybody like Joe Biden.
No, you're 10 times clearer than Joe Biden. And we broadcast live from Spain here on the Power Hour, so obviously a lot of the content is related to Spain. The guests are Spanish very often, and they always come in and speak English. And as somebody who does radio programs in Spanish, I can tell you that it's not always easy to broadcast in your second language. So we appreciate it, we recognise it, and we thank you for it.
Thank you very much,
That's it
John.
for the Power Hour this week. Fabian, please.
Thank you very much.